Any institution as old as Trinity is going to have different things that happened in its past that as we learn more now, that we look back on, and I suppose we have lots of questions about. Our students have questions about these things. When you learn more, you should re-look at the past. What's very, very important is to do that in a way that's systematic and that's considered.
This group is established representing the entire college community to provide advice and options to the Provost to deal with a number of these legacy issues.
Trinity is probably the most singular place apart from our National Museum or the RDS in this country that has to ask these questions of itself.
We put together the Trinity Legacies Review Working Group and kind of spend time thinking about what would be the exact right kind of process to have that would give, I suppose, these kind of questions the proper respect they were due, that would allow different voices to be heard, and that would allow us to look at the kind of evidence in front of us to establish in the first place whether we should take actions, and then secondly, to look at the kinds of actions that we could take.
Phase one is what we're calling an evidential review, where we commission a piece of research to look at the issue in depth. We then publish that and then seek submissions from the public to get their views on that particular issue.
One of the most important things about the Legacy Working Group is its commitment to transparency and information. And in that, it reflects the values of a modern university and should do so.
Some key values to us are really about respect and inclusivity. And if you're serious about those two values in particular, you need to have an inclusive approach to how you unpack the past, think about the future, understand the implications of the choices you made in the past. So those values, I think, really kind of drive this kind of, I suppose, deep dive into the legacy issues.
We've learned a lot about how to tackle some of these difficult issues. The process by which we approach them, how to include people as much as possible, to hear the diverse views, and in all cases there were quite diverse views around the denaming of the library, around the Inishbofin crania, should they be retained for scientific purposes.
And of course there are people who have different opinions and think we shouldn't. And you know, that's to be expected because I think these are complex issues. There isn't ever an obvious answer, but what we can stand over is the process, and that's the really important bit for me. If we can say the process was done with integrity, the process was evidence-based, the process allowed for different voices to be heard, then I think we can stand over the decision that was made.
The easy thing is for members of the public simply to visit our website. There's a section there where you can make a submission. There's a number of criteria we'd ask you to complete. We'd want to know what issue you think we should be addressing, why we should be addressing, why is it relevant to Trinity. We will then consider all of those submissions and put in place a work programme for the group for the next couple of years to try to address those in the same way in which we addressed the Inishbofin crania and the library issue, with lots of consultation and a very intensive deliberative process.